From the studios of WFAN, this is Mike Zahn, Francesa on the Fan on this Monday, the 6th day of February, as we wrap up this NFL season. And there's some Patriot fans with big smiles on their faces. Even they had given up the ghost last night. If they didn't, they're lying. And there's probably a lot of people who are, well, I don't know a lot of Falcon fans. I know a couple who were distraught today after that insane finish to Super Bowl 51. And the one thing that you notice afterwards, you don't get good analysis of a Super Bowl if there's something to analyze. It's about a celebration of the winner. It's all these presentations. It's a lot of, hey, come over here, you won with your family, and do a soft interview. But there's never any real analysis if you're looking for analysis, unless you stay up until, 1 o'clock in the morning, you might get some. And I didn't see any last night, and I didn't listen to anything today. So I hope to offer that today, because here's the one part of this game that I want to discuss. And that is when there comes a point in a game where the team behind cannot win unless crushing mistakes. And we got to that yesterday. We got to that when this game went 28-12. When they settled for a field goal, the Pats from 28-9, and I thought he'd go for two there to try to get to 17. He didn't. He went for the extra point, which surprised me. Clunked it, 28-9. They get to 28-12. They get held. And he was smart enough to go for 28-12 there, which made sense. First of all, he had a 3rd and 23, so he's not going to complete it. Matter of fact, he threw a ridiculous pass. But it's 3rd and 23, so you're going to take the field goal. Because then it's a two-possession game, 2 16s, 2 8s for 16. But at that point, if you are a veteran coach, which obviously they didn't have, and one thing I want to stop and say here, the blame last night was laid at the offensive coordinator's feet. Folks. There's a point in the game where the head coach, whose job is to ascertain time, score, opponent situation, where he takes control of the ball game and tells his coordinator and play caller, follow me. We're doing what I tell you to do now. I tell you to run it, you pick the running play. And there came a point where he needed to tell him to run it, and they didn't run it. And the fact that they didn't understand time, score, situation, opponent, they went home losers instead of going home winners, because at that juncture in the game where they settled for the field goal and kicked the ball to the Falcons, there is 9:40 left. They have the ball up 16. Against a team that is a dink-and-dunk offense at this point and has to take long minutes to score. They have no quick strike capability. The one thing you can't do is give them a short field. What do? They stopped the clock. They had a tiring defense that had been on the field the whole game, even at that juncture with 9 minutes left, which he didn't recognize. Because if you look how many plays were run by the Pats and how many plays were run by the Falcons. Falcons had the ball for 20 minutes and ran 46 plays. The Pats ran almost 100. You have to understand where your team is, and you have to understand time, score, situation, and opponent. And Quinn did not. So do not blame this on Shanahan. This is not his baby. Yes, they did not do a good job, but this is on the head coach. And this will be on the head coach for a very, very long time. Give the Pats incredible credit for, never giving up on the game, which is a good lesson for everybody. You don't give up on a ball game ever. And you don't expect champions, and they are champions, to ever give up on the game. So you don't expect Brady or Belichick or any of those guys to give up on the game. And they didn't. They kept plugging away, even though it was tough and it wasn't going well. It plugged away, and he got hit. And then they were dropping balls, and they were getting hit, and they were doing some bad stuff, and they kept plugging away, which you expect, and you give them credit for. And Edelman, who I love, made an incredible catch, one of the great catches of all time. Very much reminiscent of the Tyree catch, because how is it still in the air? Just like it never hit the ground when it's on its helmet. How did that ball, which he actually released on the way down, did not hit the ground? As an old coach used to say to me, sometimes God's playing in the game. But there comes a point where you need help. And there were two junctures in this game, two strong ones. I'm going to put one on Matt Ryan later, but two strong ones where the coach completely blew the game. He didn't blow it a little. He blew it. He blew the game so badly. I'm sure he's sick. Because none of this can happen at that juncture. Atlanta's got the ball. 9 minutes left. 1st and 10. Up 16. They can only lose if they turn the ball over. If they punt the ball back, they will not lose. They are not facing a quick strike offense. They're facing a dink and dunk offense. An offense that every time it moved needed a lot of time to get the ball down the field. Yes, Brady got a rhythm. As a matter of fact, he got it right after that. That's when he finally hit his rhythm. And he finally, for the first time all night, against a tiring pass rush, felt confident to step and throw, because now they're gassed, and he knew they didn't have anything left in the tank. So now he could finally play like Brady for the first time all night because he no longer was facing the rush that had buried him all night and had him missing guys who were wide open and not stepping up. See, Tom either has two looks. It's the look of Eagles where he knows he's got you, or the look of a rabbit who knows he's in trouble. He has only two looks. In the fourth quarter, when they were gassed, there came the other look. And when he walked out to the overtime, I said, you can forget. I mean, that's the look of Eagles. You saw it right there. But so much had gone on. And I never saw anybody last night take the time, because it's a winner's celebration. It's never about the loser. This game was as much to me about the loser as it was the winner, because when you're going to erase a big lead, somebody has to have the big lead. Well, what happened to them? And what happened to this 500-point offense down the stretch of the game? The Atlanta defense had a great night. It just got gassed. I mean, they got A-gap pressure. Jarrett could have been the MVP. One more sack, he's the MVP. They made great plays. Beasley almost had the play of a lifetime on the first down play at the end of the game, because he almost could have caught that. And if he ever would have caught it, he might have been able to go right down the sideline with it. An athlete like him. Wasn't to be. I'll get to the pass interference a little later. But I saw nobody take this apart and say, hey, there's an anatomy to a defeat here. At 9:40, if you just go 1, 2, 3 punt, I will guarantee you anything. I'll wager you my home that you will win the game. But they didn't do that. They went 1, 2, 3, fumble, strip, when he shouldn't even have been throwing the ball on 3rd and 1.5. 1st and 10, they run the ball. Right play, get 8 yards. 2nd down, run the ball. Right play, now you're inside 9 minutes. 3rd, you're on the 36-yard line, 8:31 clock running. Now, this is where a coach has to have some foresight and say, what am I thinking here? I run the ball into the line. If I get a 1st down, I'm golden. If I don't, the clock runs, or he's going to use a timeout. He's not going to use a timeout that early. Clock runs. Clock will take me down into the 7 minutes. I punt the ball back. I'm still up 16. Against the offense that is a dink and dunk offense, of which I'm going to play and make them more of a dink and dunk offense. Because they got to get 16 to tie. Instead, they try to fool them, and they have not blocked them all night well against the pass rush. Try to fool them on the 3rd and short, and Matt goes back, and he gets stripped. And now the Pats not only are in business, they now have got time back on their side. They have the short field, and they have a tiring defense. They come out. Tom Brady at that point throws the best pass he's thrown all night, because now you start to see the look of Eagles. They're in the end zone. Brilliant two-point conversion play. And now they're 28-20, okay? So, all right, you made a mistake. You regroup. You're still up 28-20. You've got the ball. There's 5 minutes and 50 seconds left. All right, you gave them a touchdown in 4 minutes. Not good. Not the end of the world. 28-20. You run a first down play, which is a very safe play. Nobody's there covering Freeman. You flip him the ball. He goes 40 yards with the ball. Now you're in business. I would not have done the play they ran. They were in too much of a hurry. But they do make a play next to Julio Jones, who makes an incredible play. And as good a catch and get your feet down as you can possibly ever make. And if you noticed, at that juncture of 28-20, they cut to Belichick, and he's furious on the sideline. You know why? He knows the game's over. It's 28-20, and you are now in cold field goal range. You're going to go up 2 scores. You don't have to do anything except ice the game now. It's over. That play should have ended the game if you're a thinking coach. Instead, 2 plays later, they have had a guy run out of bounds, a holding call, and a sack, and they're out of field goal range. The dumbest couple of plays in Super Bowl history, only matched by what Pete Carroll, his buddy, did in a Super Bowl a couple of years before. So they were once joined at the hip, now they're joined at the hip forever. Because when Julio made that amazing play and got his feet down, and I don't know how he got the second foot down, they were in cold field goal range. The clock is running. They are now 4:40 left. They've been too aggressive again with the clock for some reason, but it's 4:40. They now have a first down. You run the ball. They use their timeouts at best. The worst scenario there is the Pats have no timeouts. No timeouts. The game is in the 3-minute area, and you're up 11. That's if everything went wrong with the next 3 plays. You get a first down, the game's over. The ball should have never, ever, ever, ever been airborne again. The fact that it was is why they don't have a Super Bowl. I can forgive the first one, which was stupid. The second one borders on the insane. The game was over. You were in moderate, inside, chip shot. If you don't gain another yard, 43-yard field goal. If you don't gain a yard with those 2 backs, which is not going to happen on 3 runs, you have a 50-50 or 40-60 chance of getting a first down. Your backs are very good. You might end the game there. But at worst, the worst scenario I can give you is up 11. You want to give me the 1 out of 10 you're going to miss the field goal? It's 1 out of 10 at that point. And you saw the Pats sag at that moment on the sideline, especially Belichick, who was furious after that completion. And instead, they got the ball back. Now, here's the only thing I'll put on Shanahan and Ryan. You have now the nightmare of nightmares. They've come down the field. They've scored. They've got the 2-point conversion, which I wanted to see how much he got into the end zone by, but they never showed you a replay on the 2-point conversion, ever. Here's the Super Bowl, and they never showed you a replay on the 2-point conversion. But it's 28 up, and you have the ball in your end against an opponent that you know if they touch the ball again in this game against your completely gassed defense that has been on the field for basically 30 plays in the fourth quarter, It is completely gassed. Those linemen can't even walk to the sideline anymore. They're so tired. They've been on the field for almost 100 plays. You understand, just like Tom Brady understood in his first Super Bowl against Kurt Warner, if I don't get a field goal, I lose. Just like Aaron Rodgers knew against the Dallas Cowboys a couple of weeks ago, if I don't get a field goal, I lose. Why were Matt Ryan and Shanahan, with those wide receivers, with the great Julio Jones, with a Gabriel who was averaging 26 yards a catch, with Sanu, with all their explosiveness in Freeman, this 500-point juggernaut, why were they not more aggressive with 52 seconds left? Why did they get scared with 52 seconds left? Where was the 18 to 21-yard in cut? Where was the seam to the tight end? Where was the wheel route to Freeman? Where was the play to Julio Jones? That's when you get conservative, where you know your defense is completely gassed. Go back again, head coach, to time, score, situation, and opponent. Understand any of it. You're champions today. Understand none of it against the great Tom Brady. You're losers today. Your calls when we come back.